Shout out Q. Shout out Q.
Back at Shenandoah University, pleased to be joined by the head coach, newly named, of the men and women's volleyball team for the Shenandoah Hornets. And no, I did not stutter. Men and women's. Travis Abele. Coach, welcome. First and foremost, thank you for your time. How does it feel just being on campus here and getting a feel for things here at Shenandoah?
You know, I felt like I kind of belong here. When I first stepped on campus, you know, everyone's open doors, open arms, and I love that mentality. It really drove to me in the Shenandoah, university, mindset. No one's a stranger. Everyone's, you can say, come in. If you need my help, I'm here to help you. We want to grow this program together, both programs together, revamp the women's, start the new men's legacy. So, excitement is the buzzword around here lately.
And mentioning just getting on here, but you're pretty familiar with the ODAC being at EMU. Just take me through some of your previous stops and some of your experiences before you landed here at Shenandoah.
Yeah, so, I started coaching way back when at Hanover High School. Started doing their varsity JV for a couple years. I bounced around some of the local clubs in Richmond. And then got my first real coaching opportunity while I was also a player at Eastern Mennonite University, right down the road. Under Kerry Burt, gave me my first college taste of what it's like to coach at that next level. Was there for a couple years, playing as both, in the men's program and the women's assistant. And then got my first true coaching job out of college at Richard Bland College, William and Mary, from Scott Newton, who was the AD there at the time, and kind of bounced around, did some more travel coaching, and then the latest stop was I was offered a fantastic opportunity by Coach Tim Doyle, who was taking over at VCU. Great guy, great mentor. He's taught me a lot of things, gave me a kind of a new lease on life in terms of what it's like to be at the next level, and kind of breathed some new life into me.
So different levels of competition. Obviously, I would imagine VCU being the highest, EMU, in terms of the divisions. But those experiences coaching in the play style, what do you take away from those and bring it into Shenandoah's program?
Trying to branch across different aspects of it. So the D3 play, the D1 play is very different, but there's a lot of similarities. The foundation is all going to be the same. It's just the detailed work is going to be depending on your type of program you want to run. So the first thing getting in here is setting that culture, setting that foundation of what the type of student athlete that we're going to be bringing into the program, and then tailoring each program to the needs of what we're looking to accomplish. Whether running a faster offense or a slower offense, getting creative with concepts on defense and offenses, trying to read the defense on the other side a little bit better. Just trying to find ways to attack the other teams, just like they're going to want to attack us. And so bring in the guys that are going to buy into that culture, feed into that system, and create something long-lasting here.
And I know you've only been at Shenandoah a short time, but have you gotten a chance to sort of talk to some of the returning players coming to your volleyball team next year? And what's that like, sort of just getting to know them so they know what you're expecting out of them and vice versa?
Yeah, so I've really done a good job of trying to embrace myself into the culture here, into the life here, becoming a Hornet. I surprised them at lunch the other day, showed up. I want to instill myself into the population here. I got to sit down and eat lunch with them, got to know what they're like on a personal level, trying to understand why they chose here to begin with and what they're trying to accomplish while being here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the men's program. I want to know about them outside of these four walls, when we're practicing. The girls, the enthusiasm is buzzing, energetic is going to be, I said, that buzzword that keeps popping around. I can tell that they're walking with a lighter purpose. They have some energy in their steps. They're moving quicker. They're antsy just as like I'm antsy to get ready.
Yeah, and just this men's program, we'll get to that in a second, but the women's program too, have you sort of taken a look at some of the tape from last year? I know it's early, but looking at what you might want to keep and what you might want to change in terms of getting this program better and hopefully one of the top class here in the ODAC?
Yeah, so during the interview process, when I was trying to figure out, where I wanted to be, I did some film study, kind of created a own self-scouting report of the program. Coaching against them, I kind of knew what I was getting into just from kind of years past. The girls are very athletic. They're a hard-working group of girls that I believe are going to be just that much more eager to move faster, and then bringing in the recruits that we're talking to, trying to get those people. It's all about raising that floor of your program, because when the floor raises up, the ceiling raises up, with it. So trying to break through, having goals throughout the season. They talk about the ODAC championships being something that they always want to be a part of. They want to be in that top 3, top 5 program where they're always a contender each year. And I want the same for them as well.
And just college volleyball, it seems like at any level, the sport's fast. How fast do you think a sport like volleyball is in your mind, and the fast pace, and sort of just take me through your mind? How do you coach with such a fast pace when there's so many runs that you can go on in volleyball and over the net, and just a lot of long drives, if you will? I don't know if that's the correct term, but just the speed of volleyball, what is that like in your mind?
So we call those rallies or volleys, right? So the constant back and forth, you go on runs, you have big-time rallies, volleys across the net. They said it could be a really fast-paced game, but what I like to do is we want to practice at a faster tempo during practices, right? Because if you can slow the game down by speeding the game up at practices, you're able to take that IQ, absorb information at a much higher level in a quicker term. Just like you buy a new computer, you want the faster processing. That's what we're going to try to do. When the ball's on the other side of the court, we're analyzing, we're reading, and we're pre-anticipating what's going on so we can then be ready to attack at different levels.
You mentioned recruiting. I just want to touch on, you've been here for a short amount of time, but have you already been on the recruiting trail? What's that like?
Yeah, like you said, I got a couple tournaments coming up here in the near future for the men's and women's to look good out there. Like you said, once the email got activated, my inbox is full of recruits reaching out to me. My inbox right now probably has about 30 different recruits reaching out to me from all up and down the East Coast. Ready to get back there, get ready to the office, send out the information of how we want to get you on campus, what we want to see. The staff here, that's some of the staff that's returning, Liv and Jerry, they're going to be a big asset to kind of helping me branch those gaps and kind of make those connections of what has been spoken to, who are we looking at, the areas that they're hotbeds from. You said I'm going to be up and down the East Coast looking for that talent that's ready to kind of compete at that next level.
I mean, just as a joke, that email opened up and you probably got an email within moments because people want to come here.
Yeah, word is spreading fast about the opportunities here. You see, our AD, Deshaun Fox, has done a great job. His energy is coming into here and really promoting the brand. The president here has been amazing. They're both super big competitors, and that's what really drove me here to begin with, because I know when I'm going to want to go get it, they're going to be supporting me the whole way.
Men's volleyball. First time ever that Shenandoah will have men's volleyball. What does that mean to you that you get to be a part of history in a sense here at Shenandoah?
Legacy. That's the first word that comes to mind, right? We get to be, the first team, the first recruit, the first commit, that first practice. Those are going to be things that, the first win. Hopefully the first ODAC championship, when we start competing in a couple years. It's just going to be a process of just excitement and buzz around here. Not the hornet buzzing, kind of pun with it. But that's going to be a moment where we're all going to have to step back and take a look at something that we did this together. That brotherhood that we're going to create here, the blood brother mentality of bringing these guys in on campus.
And with that too, men's volleyball, you see it a lot at the high schools in Virginia, some of them, if they offer, colleges as well. When it comes to starting a men's volleyball program, what sort of goes into that in your mind when you're coming in here? Shenandoah wants to field a men's volleyball team. How does that start in your mind?
It starts with, first and foremost, building the culture through the women's program. I want us to be able to be cross-platform. I want the brothers to feel like, and the sisters to be one across one another. The girls will want to come in and help the guys learn the way here as they're coming on campus for the first time, and I want the guys to be able to come and help their sisters out across and help with their techniques and things. Piggyback off one another, creativity. We play a lot of co-ed back in Richmond, so that universal kind of commitment and connection back and forth can be huge and a big asset. Bringing the guys in, we're going to be looking at guys that are going to want to have the same views as us. Hardworking, people who have this brains in the classroom, that student first mentality, athlete second, that we can also build outside of these four walls, because at some point, the game does end for us, right? We've all had that hard talk with each other when you retire and when you want to do. We want the guys that are just as committed when they leave this gymnasium for the last time. They're willing to come back as well. They want to give back to the community, they want to give back to the university, and give back to the team.
Not in a sense, I would say, like blending together, but being the head coach for both the women's program and the men's program, do you sort of like the idea that the girls can maybe help out the guys or vice versa, since I'm not sure how different volleyball is from men's to women, but I would imagine it's the same concept.
Same, like I said, same foundation of principles and skills that we're going to be instilled across all platforms. Yes, I'm going to use some of these assistant positions and volunteer positions to where these young women and men are going to be able to help one another out and advance the program, right? We're strength in numbers, it's kind of the old saying. So being able to have that, and some of these guys might be wanting to become coaches themselves. I knew when I put on my jersey for the first time, I knew at some point I had to figure out a way how to make this game extend. And I found coaching. I fell in love with it as a passion. So being able to get these guys coming in and saying, hey, I want to go help the girls out. I want to help them. I want to build their brand and vice versa. I want them to come to me and say, Coach, can I help at practice today with the guys? I can learn some stuff. I can maybe show your liberos some new techniques that I learned from when I was playing, and things like that. So I want to be family first mentality, when we leave here.
And just men's volleyball in general, how have you seen the growth from maybe 3-5 years ago to now?
It is definitely on the men's side one of the fastest rising sports across the nation. When I graduated from EMU in 2019, I think there was only maybe 3 or 4 programs that had been there for years. Randolph-Macon had just started their program. Southern Virginia had just started their program. And coming back to the ODAC, now we're going to have our own conference. I didn't play in the ODAC. I played in what was called the CVC at the time. We had to go face teams like Juniata, Marymount, Rutgers, Keene, Stevenson. So now that we get to have our own conference, it just gives these young gentlemen an opportunity to advance and showcase their skills, become better athletes, become collegiate athletes at that same time, students get their degrees, and advance in their own professional lives.
And what's sort of a timeline like to get the men's season rolling in a sense, the women's too? I mean, you have players established, new players coming in, but what is that like? Are you going to start off-season training, workouts, or what is that like in your mind to get sort of the off-season program started?
So the women's spring season is about to start up here around March. We're going to start doing some open gyms, some training, some definitely getting not only just on the court but also in the classroom with me, learning about techniques, how we're going to run our style of offense, our style of defenses, figuring out what areas that we can improve on. Each player I look at as a clay. You have to mold the clay to figure out how we can take something and make it look that even much better and raise their floor as individual players. On the men's side, bringing the guys in that are ready to get going from day one, right? So we'll be able to get in there while the women's season is going on in the fall. When I'm not coaching the women's side, we're coming late afternoon with the guys' side and working on skill development. I'm going to have a staff here to be able to help me with that. So getting the guys into the gym first and foremost, like you said, give me a ball and a net and let's get to work.
And I like that, ball in the net and let's get to work. But men and women's side, does that sort of add double the workload, or in terms of coaching 2 programs like during the same course of the season?
Yeah, so I mean, if you need 2 programs, taking over one program is, a headache or can be a lot of fun at the same time as it is. That just means double the work now. But like you said, for the last 10 years as I've been building up, I'm ready to take on that challenge and I'm eager to leave that 9-to-5 job that I had and start something brand new here. In terms of the season kind of overlap, the good part is in the college game, they're kind of opposite of one another. Women's will be in the fall with our preseason starting in August. We'll end around, if everything goes to plan, we'll be playing up until November in the NCAA tournament. If I do my job right and the girls commit to what we're trying to do here, and then at the same time when that's ending, the men's preseason will be starting around the same time, which would then start until about January. So men's volleyball is currently going on right now. So there'll be a little bit of overlap, but at the same time, it'll be separated for the most part.
See, here I am thinking that the men and women's season was at the same time.
At the high school level, yes. High school level is the same, but in the college game, they are split up, which is a great benefit. So I can take that focus and those details to each team when they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said the season's like still on the tail end. Have you been watching any of the men's opponents now, seeing what their tendencies are? Or are you just waiting to take a look starting next season?
Oh no, I've started now. Like you said, I have a couple really close friends of mine, ex-teammates of myself that are starting their programs. Christian Taylor down at Randolph-Macon, he was one of my teammates in college, and I've been coaching with him at our River City Volleyball Academy club down there. So I know I know the program he's wanting to build at a national level. Bridgewater's coach was another teammate of mine that will be competing against Colton. He's starting the program there. So there's a lot of familiarity with the guys there. And you said, I got text messages from both of them saying welcome, and it's going to be a fun, just like you said, that brotherhood that we carried on past EMU. We want to go at each other like we're brothers again, right? Who's got the better team? That competitive spirit is going to drive all of our programs together. And building the ODAC, there's a lot of good teams in Virginia that it's going to be eventually, hopefully, the ODAC's going to be a powerful conference, kind of the SEC of volleyball per se.
Absolutely. Looking forward to hopefully coming out to some volleyball games come this time or earlier on next year and into the winter. But for the meantime, joined by Travis Abele. Can't thank you enough for your time, sir.
Absolutely. It's a great day to be a Hornet.